Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Ap Koute M. Today's episode is a really special one, not because we have a guest today, but because of the conversation that we are gonna have. We are going to talk about Haitian identity, healing, culture, what we've carried, what we've lost, and what it means for our generation to return to ourselves. And I'm really excited to have this conversation with someone I deeply respect, Kimberly Lauriston. Hi, Kimberly. How are you doing today?
Hi, Aurelie. I am doing good. It's been a very difficult day with technology, but I'm still good.
Oh, happy to have you here. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, my name is Kimberly Lauriston. I am a licensed clinical social worker here in the state of Texas. I'm a Haitian American, born and raised in Miami, Florida, to two wonderful Haitian parents. I am the clinical director of Inmost Ease Counseling and Behavioral Health and a lead consultant for Granite Elevation Coaching and Consulting. So I do a lot of work in the social work field. I love the things that I do, I get to do, but I am a creative at heart. I love the arts, performing arts, and I love it so much. I like to garden. What else do you want to know about me?
Well, I think that in a nutshell, we have a lot. Thank you for
Yes.
sharing. Thank you. Thank you. So, what are some of your earliest memory um, when it comes to growing up in the United States, specifically in Miami?
Earliest memories. I think I spent most of my formative years with my maternal grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
And she lived in Little Haiti.
Mm-hmm.
And she and I would go to Notre Dame
Mm-hmm.
Catholic Church,
Mm.
and I was enrolled in that church's preschool, pre-kindergarten, I
Mm.
guess.
Okay.
And so I was surrounded by people who identified as Haitian.
Mm-hmm.
I, after leaving my grandmother's home, uh, moved in with my parents and predominantly stayed at Fraternity Baptist Church, which is a Haitian church,
Mm-hmm.
Baptist church in Miami, Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Um, l'église, like l'école, we had a bunch of Caribbean people, but I was part of the Haitian club because there's so many other Haitian American kids around, but other Caribbean kids, other Latin American kids.
Mm-hmm.
I think Miami, it was a little bit of a godsend to be able to be born and raised there because
Mm-hmm.
I was surrounded by my culture, but I felt like even though we had our own cultural spaces, we were able to get in with other cultures in the area so well to create what is Black Miami. It wasn't always like that. I want to say
Mm-hmm.
I was born in the 90s. It wasn't always easy for Haitian American kids in Miami.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Talking to my older siblings, but for the most part, my experience was really good.
Okay. Yes, I definitely heard stories about how people it was difficult for people to or scary for people to identify as Haitian back in
Yes,
the
there was
days.
Haitian Day.
Hmm.
There was Haitian Day where they would, talking to my older siblings,
Mm-hmm.
they would choose a Haitian
Mm-hmm.
and just beat you up. And if your last name was Jean Baptiste,
Mm-hmm.
any of the common Haitian last names, they already knew. So a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people, at least the older kids of our generation,
Mm-hmm.
they definitely started to kind of abbreviate their names to hide,
Mm-hmm.
you know, the Haitianness just for protection. But,
Mm-hmm.
being from Miami, a lot of the negative experiences were fully overcompassed by the positive. Not only
Okay.
did we have a gang form just to protect Haitians in Miami, Zopound. I can't tell you the details about Zopound, but let's just say from the 80s to the 90s, people started to want to be friends with Haitians and want a Haitian on their clique. and love our culture. Maybe it was White Clef, maybe it was Zopound, but it was a great. I feel as though we're pivotal to South Florida culture now. But the worst that happened was not the most that happened.
Okay. Kind of. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So what made Haitian culture feel weird to you growing up?
L'église, man. L'église. I think being able to stay connected to that spirituality piece, and even though many of our parents, Haitians who migrated here, they identify as Catholic, or Protestant, Baptist, or Assemblies, I guess, Protestant or Pentecostal, whatever denomination. Despite them identifying with these larger labels, the Haitian tradition and the way of spiritual practice was still evident in our expression of faith. So, I realized that visiting Jamaican churches, visiting African churches, visiting other type of Black diaspora group churches, I'm like, we all worship the same. Just there's the spirituality just still there. So I felt really connected through there. And also I went on by my grandmother's. Like I was a team of keep at vlegete, so Tiatimoun, so like so I got to learn a lot about their childhoods and ask them questions and pick up their mannerisms, their cooking styles. So I was very entrenched in Haitianness because those Zoes, they stuck to their own for protection.
Yes.
And they didn't really assimilate, but they acculturated instead of assimilated. So they kept their cultural traditions and beliefs and practices tight, but they were still part of the greater community, but they had their spaces where they could, outside their home, they not be impacted by other cultures.
Awesome. I can definitely relate with you when you talk about your grandmother, because it was the same for me too. My brother always make jokes about how I would always hang out with with the adults. And sometimes they don't even realize I'm there because I'm quiet and all I'm doing is listening. And they forget that there's a kid between them, among them. And my brother was like, that's all she, like, Remy Paul Gramoun, no babush Gramoun. Yeah.
Yeah, I like the older people. And I guess it was my way of, now that all of my grandparents are ancestors now, but both of my grandmothers, when they passed, I felt like my cultural tether broke. So I felt like if it wasn't for my grandmothers or the deacons, the elders in the church, even my pre-kindergarten teacher, Semat, she even went to the same church. You know what I mean? So if it wasn't for the older people, they kept me connected and grounded in my Haitian identity the most. So I think moving away from Florida, leaving Miami to come to Austin, Texas, which is like white people Atlanta, forced me.
I was shocked when I came here.
Good for them, man. But it is like when you compare cities, Austin is white people Atlanta. Atlanta is for Black folks. It's simple as that.
Yeah.
Moving here, it forced me to really keep up my traditions and practices and remember where I am and where I'm from. I never had to say I was Haitian in Miami because it was just even among non-Haitians, we just culturally, we hung around a lot of cultures and we just seen each other's culture in the way that interact. Even some of Haitian Creole is part of Miami slang, general slang, we were so ingrained. But being here, I'm just Black here. People don't know what a Haitian is. When I say I'm Haitian, it's like, you Asian. They hear Asian.
Oh,
I'm like, no, I'm Haitian. Oh, where's that?
Thank you for saying that.
Where's that?
Because sometimes when they tell me that, I'm like, is it because of my accent?
No. No, it's not an accent because women, I don't even have a strong. Well, let me take that back. People say I have an accent,
Really?
but I don't. Yeah, apparently I have a Frenchy accent. People say, "Are you from Louisiana?" I'm like, no, but at least that's closer
Yeah.
to my language. We got
Yeah.
that French.
Yes, there's
So that
different.
I don't be mad when they ask me that.
Mhm.
But the fact that they tell me I have an accent, I'd be a little shocked. But I have to remember I'm from a different region. Every region got an accent.
Yeah,
Here.
that within the United States, that's definitely true. Yeah. You said something that I want to go back to earlier. You use a word that usually, right? Even me growing up in Haiti, I rarely hear that word from people that identify as Christian, the word ancestor.
Yes.
Yeah. So let's
Yeah.
talk about it.
Yeah, man, it's interesting, right? Because even within my own family, there are some things in our family line that probably my Christian Catholic relatives kind of want to just put under the rug. But
Mm-hmm.
I think our generation, because we have to hold on so tightly to our culture, especially if we're born in the States or even Canada, if we're born outside of Haiti, we have to hold on to everything we can about Haiti. And we do not disparage it. We do not hide it. Because if we don't hold on to that, we're going to lose who we are in a
Yes.
sense. So I think talking to my Haitian American peers, including my siblings, I think we all understand the power that is our lineage and our own. Isn't it the Haitian, national anthem, Pour Zanzette? Like it
Yeah.
says ancestors. How do you, how do you
Right.
not, how do you not acknowledge our ancestors? And I think people are like, oh, don't worship ancestors. Acknowledging and respecting and
It's
honoring
different.
them is different than worshiping your ancestors. And even if you are not practicing that voodoo tradition or that African spirituality traditions, those are lineage based. So
Mm-hmm.
that's cultural for us, even if you're a Christian. Because, like I said,
Mm-hmm.
I've seen so many things my Christian auntie and mommy did, and I'm like, this is not based on Western Christianity. This is based on Haitian tradition. Even if they
Yes.
try to separate it,
That
they try so
yeah,
hard to
it
separate it.
it's still mixed together. It's still there. Yes.
It's
And,
still
and
there.
yeah, just like you said, when you go to other race, or even within, different ethnicities, you would see it's either you see the, like you said, the Christianity is practiced differently in different races, and you're like, oh, okay, that's different from what we do. But when you go, for example, within the Black community, if you go to Jamaican, and then you will see, you will find yourself, you will feel that there is a connection there. There's yeah, it's very I would say linked.
It's so linked. I think, I'll talk about this. I don't know much about voodoo tradition.
Mm-hmm.
Because I never went into looking for it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I do know from the little that I have seen,
Mm-hmm.
they do their special ceremonies. What color are they all wearing? Why in a Haitian Baptist church, and not only mine, le nou fè jè, le nou fè réunion de prière. Qui coule na mette?
White.
So it's just like, even though it's, different faith concepts or whatever, the practice tradition is still similar.
Yeah.
They're still similar.
Yes. So we're already talking about it, but let's talk about what you think we've lost. We talked a lot about so many tradition, healing practices, and cultural knowledge that weren't passed down.
Yeah.
What do you think we have lost?
We've lost a lot because Western propaganda has demonized a lot of our Haitian traditions and linked everything that we did to voodoo or anything non-Christian, demonic stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It has caused a lot of our elders to not learn it purposely when their parents try to teach it to them, if they became, westernized Christian,
Yes.
or it has caused them to like, oh, I have to be a good Christian, and a lot of that stuff, like, again, I don't know a lot about voodoo, but in general, African spiritual practices, first of all, every religious practice has their dark and their light side. You can do anything for good and for harm.
Yes.
Christians too. We've seen them do it in the Crusades. Come on. But, I honestly think a lot of voodoo, just thinking about our nation's creation, a lot of voodoo is just basic knowledge of science. It's esoteric knowledge of plants and land. And that whole zombie thing, for goodness sake, zombies, they aren't dead and came back to life. They just knew how to use plants to mimic toxins to slow down your process of your body. That's science. But the West has kind of categorized it as demonic and evil instead of science, advanced science. And so, like, a lot of the remedies, like, oh, you drink this tea for this, you drink this tea for this. I learned so much how to, like, oh, teaci, but it's really good for blood pressure.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. I learned about tejejum. Tejejum is anti-inflammatory. We drink that for everything, right?
Yes.
It's to reduce the inflammation in your body, and it also helps with digestion, and things of that sort. And when do we usually drink tejejum? At the funeral, like the home, I forgot what it's called, but basically you at the house of the morning.
Yes.
You'll get tejejum, you'll get okolo, you have tejejum. I'm like, you're doing all these things because the people, the bodies are stressed, but it's a traditional thing, but it's rooted in science.
It's science.
So a lot of stuff like healing practices, like even a febeye, it's rooted in science. And I remember asking my mom, she's begging me for grandkids. I'm sorry, Mom, I'm going to wait a few more years. But I told her, like, when I do have kids, Mommy, I want you to come and do febeye. And she said, I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What am I going to do when I have babies? What is this? Now I'm trying to find another auntie, someone to fly them out. Because I'm like, I'm not going my family. I'm not going without it. And it's so good for the
it's so good. It's so good for part of our recovery. I had that experience too, where my mom did not know much about it. I think at some point, some generation were like, okay, we're not doing this anymore. So, but also the way I had it with my first pregnancy was unexpected. A best friend of mine came to visit me, and from Canada, she had everything. She bought everything before she came, and I was more to me because it wasn't passed down from my mom. And so to me, I knew of it, I knew about it, but I didn't know the detail, the specific, or how you would feel when you actually do it. So, but I was always open. So when my friend said, I'm going to buy everything and then I come and do it for you, I was open. But the release that I had, my muscle felt relaxed. It's like I didn't even feel the tension before. It was after I realized how much tension I was holding. It was so refreshing. It's like my body was new again. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, I feel like we're losing a lot of esoteric knowledge because we're leaning so much in a cultural practice that is not our own. Like Western medicine is great and all, but I've always been grateful. Like I always purposely sought out Caribbean or Indian providers because they always brought, or even the witchy white ones. They call them little witchy people because they're all about the herbs and stuff.
Yeah.
I always sought out those type of providers who prescribe to Eastern and African. I'm gonna say Eastern, but that's like Eastern and African.
Yes.
Herb knowledge to help take care of me. Like there's no need for me to take this pill when God made this particular plant. I remember one of my doctors back home, Dr. Tom, no, not Tamayo, Dr. Zarula, her and her husband were both our doctors. They shared a practice. And she was like, I can give you this pill, but just tell your mom. She was me and my parents' doctors. She's like, just tell your mom and dad to boil this plant and you drink this for a week. You know, like that knowledge, people will mislabel it as not as great.
Yes.
Or I'm like, no, there's a reason why we've had healthy babies. So like in Haiti, there's a reason why we don't have all the fancy stuff, but there's a lot of outcomes that are better.
Well, yeah, because we use nature, right? That's a lot of what we do, nature, and we know so much. Like you said, it's still based on science, and I guess that, well, like you said, you know, with the what the Western culture has done and told us about our own ways of living life, right? Because it's only their way is the only way, actually, right? But you that's a good point. You brought up a good point when you talk about even Indian, even I sometimes you know, my clients are from different backgrounds, and sometimes there are things that I hear and I'm like, oh, this is kind of like us. We are so connected to, you know, but sadly, like you said, we have lost so much. How do you think we can go back to that? How do we gain it back?
You know, I have made it a necessity. I think you and I both was with the old people when we were younger, Indigenous. So I think I ask a lot of questions and I try to learn as much as I can from the generation that was back home, who is still living with us now. I try to learn as much as I can. Granted, it's a little difficult now that both my grandmothers are passed. My grandfather's passed when both my parents were toddlers. I never met them. But unfortunately, our parents are not always the greatest resources. I do think when I try to get information through my mom, there's traumas that she needs to deal with her migration story. And I think at least my mom and dad's generation, they were there during, if not Papa Doc, Baby Doc's time.
Okay.
When they were younger. And I can only imagine the trauma that they went through. So there's a real block for them to even connect to stories about their life in Haiti. They don't want to think about it because there's trauma that's not resolved there. But for me, I've been using other Haitian Americans, other Haitians from other countries, just that second generation. We've been helping each other a lot online. Like we have our forums, we share recipes, we teach each other how to cook. I can cook, right? My mom would tell people, oh, mutwe. No, she didn't mutwe anything. When she tried to teach me how to cook, she would like get frustrated and tell me to get out the kitchen and finish it, right? So I learned by doing and writing the steps down and practicing it and my body. My mom she was a horrible teacher. So my mom didn't teach me how to cook. So when I moved to Texas, I got better at cooking, specifically Haitian food, because of other Haitians who were online posting. And then I started remembering what I saw my mom do and then making it my own to create my own Haitian recipes. So I used the online a lot. YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. I have so many, saved videos. Right? And and also just reading and building community with other Haitians that I find, because it's the only way I'm going to learn. Like I have friends from home. One of them is here also in Texas, in Dallas, and her family's from the South. My family's from the North. And we even compare the different dishes, like the stuff we eat in the North that she never had. Like I eat tom-tom, fufu. I love fufu so much. She don't know what I was talking about.
No, she would. What, was she born in Haiti?
No, she wasn't born in Haiti, but her family, her family is from the South.
The South, She would. No, it's from the North. I actually tried it once, only one time when I was little. because of someone from the north that was at home. So we know of it in Haiti. We know of it, but like she said, the people from the north are the ones who like really make it. You can find it, or you can, from other part of Haiti, you can still eat it because we know of it, but it's not a tradition. It's not something we make really unless we want to really try.
Yeah. My mom's village, I guess you want to call it a village town. She's from ancestral, and my dad's from Latoti in Port-au-Prince. They set up, like, even my African friends here in grad school, like, oh, you eat this too? I'm like, yeah, we call it fufu. They're like, what you know about fufu? I'm like, we call it the same thing, we're the same people. Anyway, but I learned about other things. I asked my mom, because someone said, oh, I heard Haitians make tamales. I'm like, we don't make tamales. And then I went to go look it up, and then I learned about this cornmeal thing that people make sweet. I forgot the name of it. I saved it because I'm going to learn how to make it.
Yeah.
And I asked my mom about it. I'm like, Mommy, you never made this. She said, oh, pas manger ça. But look, I used to manger.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like, okay.
Yes. Our culture is so rich, it's so diverse. Even within Haiti, it's so diverse. From how we speak Creole, from the north, it's totally different. Sometimes I hear that, I'm like, that's a different language. I don't know how is this Creole, but it's so it's fascinating,
and it's layered. Like, language tells your story. So my same friend, her family's from the South. She made a joke a couple of years ago, and it kind of hurt my feelings because I'm not trying to be French adjacent, but she was like, you speak with a French accent. You from the north. You got that proper Creole. I'm like, what? I don't speak French. I don't want to speak French. I don't want to speak that colonizer tongue. Why would you say that to me? And then I heard myself on a voice message I sent to my aunt a couple of weeks ago, and it played, and I was like, who is that? Why sound like that? I had a Frenchy accent. I'm like, but I don't speak French. Where is this from? And then she speaks completely different. I'm like, yeah. And then she's like, oh, by the way, when we go to Haiti, Kim, our Creole is like 20 years late.
Even for me, every time you go, it's like there is a new way of speaking, and they would spot you as a diaspora really quick.
Yeah, I went over there, and they're like, oh, diaspora.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, don't call me that. Don't call me a blunt either. That hurt. I haven't been called a blunt, but I heard them call my brother a blunt because he didn't speak a lick of Creole. So they call him blunt.
Yeah.
I was like, dang. It's so rude. Yeah, it's interesting. Like, I think the Haitian identity is very multifaceted. Again, you got folks born on an island. All of us living in different countries, different regions in the country.
Yes.
Right? It's just very...
Yeah, and also, even, we also talked about how even within the United States, right, the Haitians from Miami are different from the one in New York and Boston, you name it.
Yeah, I still remember the stereotypes because I have cousins in every place, right? Those places. And they were like, oh, the Haitians in Florida, man, they not proper. they moon on they they rough.
So even within the United States, there's Munadeo.
They call us Moon Ondeo. They say, oh, they loudly Haitian, not in a bad way, but it just like they're not as it's like it's a stereotype. Like us in South Florida, we a little bit too wild, and then like the Haitians in New York are the rich ones who like from the upper class in Haiti that went to New York. The lower class went to Miami. Everyone in Boston and in between, it's just they was just trying to not be any one of those.
Wow. Okay.
That's the stereotype.
Interesting. It kind of remind me something in Haiti too, actually. They talk about Muna Wu Muna Ba.
Uh,
Yeah, and that's kind of what they're talking about when they talk about Munawo, people from Pétionville, yeah, a Pèlerin, and then Munaba, basically the South, or Kafu, a Bantissa. It's kind of the same thing I'm
yeah,
hearing.
it's a bad stereotype, but unfortunately, stereotypes are grounded in some truth. Um, it was more financially
Mm-hmm.
easier for folks in Haiti to migrate to Miami, because the ticket prices were way lower because it was an
Mm-hmm.
hour and a half flight,
Mm-hmm.
right, into Pop or Cap Haitian, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then it's more expensive going all the way to New York.
Yes.
Imagine the price. So
Imagine the one
I
in
understand.
California.
Oh yeah, I don't want to know. Flying home, like I was looking like, how much will it cost me to fly from Texas to Haiti? One, I got to go through Miami no matter what I do. But I was just like, man, this is expensive.
Yeah.
Like $1,200
Mm-hmm.
last time I checked. I was like, um. So yeah, there is some untruth to the stereotype in that regard. But I think it's also the regional cultures, right? So
Yes.
Miami is loud and proud of
Mm-hmm.
wherever you're from.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when I moved here from Texas, I had to learn real quick Texas culture. You can't ask somebody in Texas, where you from?
Mm-hmm.
They're going to assume you're calling them an illegal immigrant or
Illegal.
something. They will, but you ask that in Miami, maybe even if the person is African American, their family's from Florida,
Yes.
they'll be like, yeah, man, I'm Black American. And we all understand, oh, I'm Haitian. We know that you was born here, but your
Mm-hmm.
people's from Haiti.
Yes.
We have that understanding that everyone's family has history somewhere else. And if they
Mm-hmm.
don't, they're Black American and we love them just as the same
Mm-hmm.
in Miami,
Mm-hmm.
right? In Texas,
No. I let
you
people
can't do
ask
that.
me. I don't ask.
Yeah, I don't even ask. I just now my where you from turned to are you originally from Austin?
Yeah, that part.
It turned
Yes.
to that. Yeah,
Yes.
it turns
Yes.
to that because I'm not trying to make someone feel people get so uncomfortable because of the culture of Texas.
Mm-hmm.
You either a Texan, and if you're not a Texan, you're somebody else, right? Not
Yes.
foreigner. You're a
Mm-hmm.
foreigner. And I think it's because do you know where Six Flags over Texas came from? Do you know about that?
Mm-mm.
Texas was its own country for a short time. It wasn't part of the United States. It
I
was
didn't know that.
its own country. And I swear to God, people in Texas still think they their own country.
Yeah, no, that's true. That is so
So
true. Yeah.
that's the culture of Texas. In New York is a little bit more business minded. And I think because, like I said, people who can afford a more expensive flight probably went to New York.
Mm-hmm.
But it's usually people who had access to more education. And we talked about this, like in Haiti, there's not real free public education. Well, it's getting better now, but your level of understanding your number of languages you speak was predicated on your socioeconomic status
Yes.
and where your family's from.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone speaks Creole, but unless you was a West African sent to school, and if your family's from the countryside, you only speak Creole. But
Yes.
if you go to school, you learn Creole, French, English, Spanish.
Depending on
My little
what
cousins,
school. Depending on
depending
which
on what
school.
school.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
because even within the schooling itself, um, that also varied, and very big. It wasn't just
yeah,
little discrepancies. It was huge. From you even within the Catholic schools, right? Are you coming from the high end, basically Catholic school? When you talk about Bellalieu, Sacré-Cœur, or are you talking about Memorian, which was sadly like a big different discrepancy? And then it also in many case in many forms actually it was how much you pay to get in. It was also how many students were accepted there, because some had way more students than another. The ones that were more the elite one or high end ones were they had smaller classes, and the other ones had larger classes. And then outside of that, you had the other schools, either private school. For me too, CCF was one of them, and then it goes down too. Then you get the public schools. So it was so the gaps were education when it comes to Port-au-Prince at least, because I can't talk about the countryside, but to Port-au-Prince at least, there's very big gaps when it comes to the education. And like you said, it's connected to how much your parents can afford.
Yeah. So I think the caste system in Haiti, that's what it is. Let's be real.
Yes.
In Latin America in general.
Yeah.
The caste system, it kind of created the regional cultures, Haitian American cultures in the United States. It contributed a bit to that. I don't know how it is in Canada. We got to talk to somebody from Canada that's some perspective. But definitely in the United States, I can definitely see that. But I really do think when someone says they're Haitian, you got to do that work to be like, okay, what type of Haitian mentally? Because we come in so many different shades, different education background, different language. We're like linguists. Like Haitians, we speak so many languages.
Yes, we do.
And we are polyglots, just like our African brothers and sisters. Like, and specifically with Latin-based languages, we can pick up things quickly. I know now, like my in-laws, they're like, "Oh, Kimberly's gonna speak Spanish." They joke, "Kimberly speaks more Spanish than her husband." Yeah. And I'm like, "Hey, y'all giving me too much credit." I just, my brain picks up things quick, because Spanish is not that far from Creole. We have Spanish,
yes,
and French, and
yes,
Arabic and other Western languages in that created Creole, so I can like use my,
yeah,
but yeah, we are a very unique people, and I just love being Haitian. I always feel like we're the connectors of the world because we really are.
That's big. Yeah, I like that. We are connected. Yeah,
we are the connectors of the world because, man, I'm not gonna go on a rant about our history, but it's just we are connected to our African brothers and sisters a lot more than other African heavy Caribbean nations. We acknowledge where it comes from, right? I know some Haitians like, "Oh, I'm not African, so I used to," yeah, but a lot of our stuff came from the West.
I think nowadays, because it was a thing when I was growing up to not identify as African, but I think nowadays it's different. And I think what changed is knowing more about ourselves, knowing more about the revolution. Because I feel like at school, growing up in Haiti, we got snippets of what happened, like kind of like a summary. This is what happened, But nowadays, people are so eager to not only teach the one that really dive into the history. They're so eager to online to teach, but also we are so eager to learn more. And that is changing, and I think that changed how we identify when it comes to African. Yeah.
And we are Latin. We're the first Latin American country, and I know a lot of Haitians be like, "Don't call me Latin." I get it. Look,
there's a reason for that, though.
Yeah, I know.
They don't want us. They don't want us.
The Africans don't want us either. Haiti tried to join the African Union, and the African Union said no. So they don't want us either. So what's the logic, right? So like I tell people, like, me not claiming my Africanness, me not claiming my Latin Americanness, I need a tissue. Me not claiming those identities erases the history of my nation.
It does.
If you don't accept that identity, you don't accept the history of our nation. It goes hand in hand. We helped create Latin America. We helped create what America, United States, is now. We had a big say in the geopolitical framing of this whole side of the world.
Yes.
How can you not claim? And that's why I said we're very connected. And I know a lot of people like, a lot of Haitians don't have Taino blood. Actually, that is a lie. Many Haitians do. It's just not a lot because of our history.
Because,
you know, and in a lot of Arawakan tradition is in our culture today. Like, you know, so we have to honor that as well. The natives that were here, we honor them.
Yes.
Anyways.
Yeah, and I think we've come to understand too that they were not all gone, because that's what, growing up, that's what I learned. They were all,
No.
you know, they all died, but that's not true. So I think now it has becoming more apparent to look for, okay, what are the things they have they left for us, and then some of our food, it is also, you know, what they've left.
Our food, some of our spiritual traditions.
Yes, definitely that.
And a lot of our words.
Oh yeah,
a lot of our words. It's literally all these weird names for these provinces in Haiti. Achibonite, Kafu. They all come from Arawakan words.
Yeah.
That's not, you know, I think, and in there's a lot of historical landmarks, there's caves, there's a lot of stuff in this.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of writing. I saw video, like how writing on walks that we still have. Yeah.
So, like, that's why I feel like we're connectors, because, like, whether it's the indigenous side, the African side, or the European side, we Haitians meet at the center where nobody wants to claim us or be connected to us or be associated with us, but we're the result of all these peoples clashing together. But our cultural identity honors them. I don't think the Europeans, the ones who love to, that's just me. I don't like France. I don't like France, the government. I have no problem with French people. Yes. I really don't. But the government of France is still harming our brothers in Africa and us till this day. I just can't jiggy with it. So I personally, as my own personal protest since I was 2 years old, I'm not learning French. I told my mom, "Oh, Papa, I'm like, no," and I ran away. She tells me the story all the time. I never wanted to learn French because I did not want to speak that colonizer's tongue, and I still don't. It is what it is. But you know, some people like to elevate that tongue above a beautiful language that was created by people to confuse everyone else, but to unite us.
Yes.
Haitian Creole is such a beautiful language. Why would you not elevate that above the colonizer's tongue? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think just being Haitian is just not accepting the labels of other people and owning our own identity. And I love that about us.
Proudly owning it. Yes, I love it too. Yeah. When it comes about healing, right? What are some survival patterns that you think that were passed down to protect us, but became maladaptive for us?
A lot. Just witnessing the migrating generation, the first gens, our parents, those who were here before us, or grandparents. There's a silence to trauma that's not being resolved. And because of the receipt that they had, especially in Miami, I don't know about the other regions in the United States, but Haitians coming in the 70s wave and the 80s wave, they were met with so much vitriol and I don't want to say hate, but fear from other Black communities here, from white communities, as well as other Hispanic, like Latin American communities in the area. And it's because they were not only racial minorities, linguistic minorities. We didn't speak English, right?
Yes.
But spiritual minorities in a sense, even though our Latin American and other Caribbean folks and Black Americans practice some of the same African spirituality, that westernized propaganda against us demonize our spirituality.
Yes.
So there was a lot of vitriol. And I understand that being met with that after enduring whatever type of journey you did, from whatever place you did in Haiti, there was a lot. There was a lot of survival mode.
Yes.
The good thing is it helped us form our institutions, because those institutions were formed as a means of protection and belonging. The good and the bad ones, Zopound included. But the survival aspect, I don't think our parents, I'm going to speak about my parents, because I don't know about everybody else. I'm not going to generalize this, but for the most part, my parents and my friends' parents, they all live their life in survival mode. There's no rest. There's no healing. There's no, I have to do this or I'm going to lose something. They're always waiting for a shoe to drop.
Yes.
They're always operating with the worst potential thing happening in mind.
Yes.
And even though that protected them during that migration and while they were trying to get their ground in a new place, they instill some of that in us, and those behaviors are not productive anymore.
Yeah.
It's not honoring our ancestors. Our ancestors went through what they went through, including our grandparents and parents, if they're not here with us anymore. They went through what they went through so that we don't have to fight to survive. And if we don't know how to get out of survival mode, are we really honoring their pain, their lives, their joys, everything? Are we honoring them?
Yes.
By continually working so hard to the bone that we have no life left. So I've seen it in my parents. I'm going to speak specifically to my mom. My dad, I'm a woman, so I can only speak on a women aspect of it. My mom does not have a life outside of being a caregiver. She does not have an identity outside of being someone who is needed. She doesn't have interests of herself. She doesn't have hobbies. And it's even in the religious community, that institution was a source of strength and belonging, but that institution should not be your identity, right?
Yeah.
That what you do in that institution is not why you're valued. You're valued regardless. So I see so many of my elder folks losing themselves to serving in a church because they think that's what their life is for. And they have these gifts that goes on a shelf that they never use, my mom included, and again, I know a lot of them are not ready and are not at a place of readiness to start the healing process. And they never will get there. Some of them won't get there. Some will die like that.
Yeah.
But it's not good for us. It's not good for us. I had to learn a lot of undoing a lot of behaviors and narratives around survival that my mom gave me. Like even the church family, like negative things, survival. I know it was a different time back then, but being told that, again, going against our cultural tradition, right? Being told that I'm only good to bear children and get married, and that I should not speak too much, or that my whole identity is to be male-centered, or that to be a provider, because it's not only about the patriarchal expectations, but this is expectation to provide for your family, to take care of everyone, that you're selfish if you have boundaries, or that you are a bad child for standing up for yourself to your own parents, for speaking out, for questioning. It's just so many things that they did to survive, and they try to pass it on. Like everything cultural is not healthy. Sometimes trauma becomes culture.
Oh, yes.
There's a lot of trauma.
Definitely. And I think
a lot of trauma.
Even from the one that were, my mom migrated very later, because I was raised actually in Haiti. I came before my mom, but even staying in Haiti after these specific time that you talked about, Papa Dog or Baby Dog, right? The ones that stayed. But even before that, if we talk about our ancestors, what they've been through, right? And all that was passed down. And for me, for my mom, what I saw a lot was to keep busy. She was always busy. There was always something to do, always somewhere to be. And that was being productive, quote unquote, right? And West wasn't seen as safe, you know. And I think a lot of us are carrying all of that. We don't even realize it. And it keeps going and going, right? But I think it's time. It's time for us to change the narrative, to, like you said, to go back to what our ancestors wanted themselves, they didn't get, for us to get.
Yeah, and that's the best way to honor them. Like, I think my mom shared one dream with me, I think when I was 5, that she wanted to do, 5 or 6. I did not see my mom fulfill that dream. And I think she chose stability and sticking to the tradition of marriage, family. That's my life. And seeing that, it hurts, but I'm going to honor her anyway for her choice. But I told myself, when I have children, I will never, ever give up on a dream, so that they can see me going after it, just even with, you know, a family. You know, your family, you pouring into your children is also pouring hope and dreaming into them too. You know, I love my mom. I do. I love my parents. I love our parents, period. They went through so much.
We love them. Yes.
I just genuinely.
How do you think we can separate while honoring them, but we can also separate their survival instinct or pattern?
That's a hard question because I'm in the process of still learning that. I know God has really helped me understand and honor my mom where she is. Don't pray. Of course, pray and hope she gets to where she needs to.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think sometimes honoring our ancestors' hopes and dreams also comes at hiding my plans from my my parents, so that they don't speak it down on it or to speak death on it.
Yes.
And then also doing it first, showing them and telling them later. Because there's so many things. Like, I remember undergrad, high school, I got accepted. This is when I started realizing, thinking about their trauma. I got accepted to the study abroad program for a semester in high school. I would spend 3 semesters in Australia, 3 in New Zealand, 3 weeks in Australia, 3 weeks in New Zealand, and 3 weeks in Fiji.
Okay.
I wanted to go so bad. Instead of saying just no, my parents stalled. Because we were supposed to go to a meeting with the parents and the kids to say yes and do the paperwork. My parents stalled. They took their time getting ready so that we would miss the meeting. Instead of saying no, right? In my head, I'm like, I don't understand. Y'all left Haiti and came to a whole new country. Why y'all so afraid of me traveling? Why y'all so afraid of me? Like, it doesn't make sense. In my head, I'm like, I don't get it. You guys are world travelers. Why y'all not letting me world travel? What is this fear coming from, right? In college, studying abroad again. I was a grown-up here, but that instilled behavior in me to do what my parents want, to want to make them proud, to respect my parents. I had a chance to study at the University of Salamanca, the oldest university in the West, in Spain. I minored in Spanish language, and that would have helped me really with my Spanish.
Yes.
My parents said no. I was 19 years old. I didn't have to listen to them. But that thing in me, as being a Haitian child, I said, I can't do it without my parents' blessing. So I took that opportunity away from myself. So sometimes their means of protection and survival, it robs us of our future opportunities, because culturally we think this narrative is, if I go after these, I don't care about my family. I can't do it. There's this I can't because they couldn't.
Yes.
And not a I can even though they couldn't, you know? So I think we have to do, I like narrative theory. We have to really break down those narratives. Why are we choosing to do this? What stories did we tell ourselves? What stories did our parents tell us to make us think this way? Is there congruence? Is there a logical connection? Is there a causation to why this decision wasn't made? Because you don't want A plus B to lead to C, but C is not even part of it.
Yes.
Plus, you're doing A plus A. There's no B to make C. So why are you, it's that narrative deconstruction.
Yes. And what I want to add to, because you said it perfectly, I want to add also one thing we were not raised to do, we don't do, is to find ourselves, this unique part of ourselves. It's always looking at this picture that was already painted, what you should study, what you should do based on, not just society, but the culture, right? As Haitian, this is how you should present yourself, or you should, things you shouldn't do. And I think we get lost ourselves, as we are, a unique self, we get lost in all of that. And with that story, when we deconstruct that story, we should also bring ourselves into it. Outside of all of that, what do we want? What do I want? Who am I outside of all of that? To take what is what we can use, and to also say no to what we don't need anymore.
And I know, and this is for everyone, I always tell folks, and this is why it takes so long for me to be a parent, because I take parenting so seriously, and I understand how what I say and do, even after I'm no longer walking on this earth, what I say and do would echo in the halls of the mind of my children and impact their behaviors and their choices and their world. Is what I'm going to say and do going to make their world big, or am I going to make their world smaller so they're limited? I don't want to limit my future children. And I think what I have done was kind of put a psychic barrier. What my parents, mom and dad has already said, even the elders at church, what they have said is still here. It echoes. But I have definitely put a psychic barrier to the new content that they try to throw at me. Like you said, I take what makes sense and what's good. I compare it to what God says I am, or where He wants me to go, in the dreams I have. If it does not serve that, I discard that bad boy so fast, so I can not be limited by the people I love and want to be proud of me and support my decisions, limitations, because they're human. Our
they're human.
We're human, and I'm just,
and
it's a process.
Yeah, and I think also the fact that they haven't healed, right? We talked about that. I think because of that too, there's a lot of things they will not understand, that trying to, like you said, trying to tell them and make it make sense for them, because of the trauma, the patterns that are already there. More fear is gonna come up, and that's the lenses they're gonna look at it, right? Because they haven't done their own healing. And sometimes it's for us to figure it out on our own. And like you said, afterwards, then they might see it and see, oh, okay, I see what you meant. And sometimes it's better like that, as opposed to trying to make them see and make them understand, because, hey, their nervous system is going to respond, the same way.
I think something that my therapist told me a couple of years ago when I was like really breaking out down these narratives. He told me, Kimberly, if your mom never says, I understand, will you still be healed?
Ooh.
If your mom never says, I'm sorry, and trust me, my mom has never apologized to me my whole life.
Yeah.
It's always, uncle, shoot, tell me food is ready. That's my apology. They apologize for taking care of you.
Yeah.
And he told me, if she never says, I understand, or if she or your dad or your mom never says, I'm sorry, if you never get any of these, will that impact your healing? Because he told me you have to heal even if.
And that's
Even
so
if.
difficult to do. It's so difficult because the little self is wanting that sorry, right? It's wanting that, do you see me? Or do you understand me? But yet they may never get there. And how do we still move forward with healing, knowing that, okay, I'm gonna have to let this go, but I'm still healing, right? And it's beautiful when you get there. It's beautiful, but also difficult to do.
It's difficult. I will say this is where I am, and I've been healing for 5 years. I think where empathy helped. When I said, I will love a sorry, but I know she can't give me a sorry because this is what she needs for herself. And that helps me be okay. And just do heal anyway. Having enough empathy to understand why they can't.
Yes.
And accepting that.
Yeah. Understanding their story where they can't, it's the other connected part, right? That's how you're gonna move, like you said, the empathy, because it changes your emotion to being angry and wanting this to then, okay, I understand where you were coming from. I understand your story. I understand what you didn't have, and you couldn't give me, right? And then that's where the empathy and the forgiveness comes in, right? Yeah.
And then I think, as at least with my parents, there is a block talking about life in Haiti for them. So I think that's why I like talking to the others, their cousins, their aunts and uncles, like getting as much information as,
Yes.
If I can't get it from the primary source, I'll go to secondary sources. I go to tertiary sources. I'm gonna get some story to help me make this,
make it make sense.
Make it make sense.
Yes.
Even if you can't tell me, I have access to, we have to do that. I have access to the people around you that could fill the gaps for me. My Aunt Lillian, my dad's sister, is my mom's best friend. My parents are divorced, but my dad's sister is my mom's best friend. I learned so much about my mama without her telling me anything because of my aunt. Okay. And my great-grand aunt, my grandpa's sister, who basically raised my mom and her siblings because my grandma was working in Bahamas and sent them ahead. I learned so much about my mama through my grand aunt and my aunt. Those were my people to get some information. And her cousins.
Wow.
Her cousins. My mom won't tell me nothing.
She's a closed book. She's like, you're not getting in. And I'm sure it's because it's so painful for her. She has put it behind her, quote unquote, right? Which you still you're trying to find out because you can still see through it, right? But consciously she doesn't want to get there, and it's painful for her. Well, hopefully she gets there one day because she needs it.
I hope she does, but again, I'm okay if she never does.
Well, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Right?
We can't be responsible for another adult's healing.
That part.
You can't put that responsibility on your shoulders.
And you can't hope to keep hoping because it's up to them.
Yeah. The acceptance is the best route. Just accept.
Accept and
they blow your mind. Yeah. If they blow your mind, oh my gosh, be psyched. But just accept.
Yes.
And be okay with that.
Be at peace with that. Yeah. So lastly, what gives you hope when you think about our generation and the future of Haiti, of Haitian healing?
It gives me hope. I think the connecting of our global identities, and you know, people can communicate way more now than they did back then. The younger generation seems to be on the same wavelength. Even if they're not Haitian, this generation is on a different wavelength. We don't play that. We want to identify those negative, maladaptive behaviors that have masquerade themselves as tradition. And we question. We're questioning, we're reframing, we're real building, restructuring identities in real time. And plus, we, let's be real, I think there's just a desire and hope for change. And I think it's evident because the diaspora partnered with nationals. Like, I'm just so proud of us for having those canals built. I know I donated a lot. Like, the fact that we just want so much more for Haiti.
Yes.
I don't know what's happening now politically, but I feel as though there's hope because the younger generation is going to build up. We're building up our nation. We're going around the usual, usual routes to get stuff done because clearly these adults, they just want to repeat patterns. And we need a new pattern of being and doing things.
Yes.
So I feel as though, I think for us, we're going to heal. We're recognizing the patterns and we're calling them out. And again, the people who are staying in their little pattern don't want to change. We will force them to change by doing something different. Getting what we want despite going through them. We don't need your permission. We'll do it anyway.
Yeah.
And I think that's the energy that's going to really improve Haiti, but also our lives as Haitian Americans. Like, we have to take no prisoners and don't apologize for what's good for us in our future. I like this concept that First Nation and Indigenous folks have called 7-generation thinking. When you're in survival mode, you can't think 7 generations ahead.
Oh, no.
You really can't. And I think the more we heal, the more we're going to make changes thinking about the 7 generations ahead. If we do this policy, how is it going to impact 7 generations from now?
Yes.
Because we're getting all the hits from the 7 generations before us, and this is how it's impacting us. And I think we're at a good point to catch it and really refocus from ourselves to the future moving forward.
Wow, that was so beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing, for give us your perspective and your heart. I think this conversation was very needed. A lot of people needed to hear that. Yes. And for everyone listening, if this resonated with you, subscribe and share it with someone who might need to hear it too. And even if it doesn't feel that way yet, healing is possible. And if you are looking for a space to continue your journey in community, I would love to invite